The All-Star Game is a highlight of every NBA season, and in the league's silver anniversary year, the battle was played in the beautiful San Diego International Sports Arena, which provided the setting for 28 of the game's greatest stars. For some, like Chicago's Bob Love and Cleveland's rookie, Johnny Johnson, it is truly a dream game. The first time they've been accorded All-Star honors. For others, it's an annual stop. Men like Oscar Robertson and Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain, who are playing in their 11th annual All-Star Game. The veterans of the Eastern team are Willis Reed of New York, playing in his 7th game, and Boston's John Havlicek, appearing in his 6th. Red Holzman of the defending world champion Knicks will coach the East team, and Larry Costello of the Milwaukee Bucks leads the West. The evening before the silver anniversary game, the NBA took time out to honor its stars from the past. Men who had made the first quarter century an unforgettable era, like number 9, Bob Pettit, an all-NBA player for 10 years. Bob Pettit, the first player in history to go over the 20,000-point mark. Yes, Bob Pettit stands as a classic example of what determination can overcome.
Looking back to a young man that more than anything in the world wanted to play basketball, wanted to win a high school letter. Started out as a freshman in high school, never scored a point. Went on from there to get cut from the team as a sophomore. To be here tonight to receive this honor is just beyond my comprehension. I'm honored, I'm proud. Thank you very much.
Another man named to the silver anniversary team was George Mikan, who led the Minneapolis Lakers to 5 championships. At 6'10", he was the first of the big centers, a great competitor, all-NBA 6 straight years. George Mikan.
An honor bestowed upon a person like this is one, I guess, you'll never forget. To be honored by your fellow players, to be a part of such a wonderful function, be a part of all these wonderful people up here, it's a real thrill for me. Everything that I have today came from this wonderful sport of basketball. It was sort of nice for a gangly guy like I, when I first took the court, and God bless my coach, Ray Meyer, to have his compassion for me, I tripped over the lines that were too high. So we had a long way to come. And to be honored here today, I'll never forget it. Thank you very kindly.
The following night, the present-day stars were back in the spotlight, with Lew Alcindor and Willis Reed at center. On the very first play, Billy Cunningham drives for the basket and goes down hard with an eye injury. Fortunately, the injury turns out to be minor, and Cunningham gets the game's first point on a free throw. Jerry Lucas counters for the West on a fine pass from Alcindor. Bob Love shows he's not nervous in his first All-Star game, connecting on a 10-foot jumper. Los Angeles' Jerry West passes to Detroit's Dave Bing for a driving layup. Let's take another look at that play. It put the West in front 8-1. The East got moving on a Johnny Havlicek 15-footer. The Knickerbocker Stars team up for a dandy, Frazier to Reed. Baltimore's Earl Monroe can do it all, even shooting over a mountain. Lucas trying to defend Frazier, but Frazier scores and the East likes it outside. The West works in closer, Jerry West to Alcindor. Lew gets even closer with a great assist from Bing for a slam dunk. The East sends out a new team, and New York's Dave DeBusschere cuts the West advantage. Baltimore's Wes Unseld hits from outside, too. Atlanta's Lou Hudson is on the front end of a long pass and gets an easy two-pointer. Boston's talented JoJo White puts the East within 1 point late in the first quarter. Chicago's Chet Walker tries a jump shot, and things are spinning just right for the West at this point. Alcindor gets a little help in his short jumper, too. And the first quarter ends with the West in front, 30-26.
As the second quarter gets underway, the West is protecting a 4-point lead. Lenny Wilkens, the Seattle player-coach, hits on a dribble drive. Unsold, a fine shooter, hits another one from outside. Oscar Robertson, playing in his 11th All-Star game, but the first time for the West, drives for two. JoJo White assists Gus Johnson as he counters for the East. Then it's Johnson again from long range, and the East leads for the first time, 36-35. It doesn't last long as Wilkens gets through on another drive. Tom Van Arsdale scores for the East on a jumper. The West turns to its big men for some fine passing, and it pays off with a bucket by Chet Walker. Chamberlain and Hayes team up again, and the West has another bucket. But the East is rolling too, as Gus Johnson hits a jumper. And Johnny Green spins one in from close range to tie the game at 44. Wilkens connects on a long one to send the West back into the lead. But Tom Van Arsdale hits from the same distance for the East. It's a duel between the brothers as Dick Van Arsdale hits on a jumper and then comes back with a drive. It's the second straight year the former Indiana University stars have faced each other in all-star competition. Willis Reed goes to one of his favorite spots and hits for the East. Teammate Walt Frazier likes the 10-foot range also. The East goes to work on defense. Havlicek breaking up a Chamberlain pass to Jeff Mullins, and the Celtic captain has an easy bucket. But the West feels the play will work, and it does. Lucas is wide open after some sharp passing. Billy Cunningham hits a long jumper, and the game is tied again, 56-56, late in the second quarter. So far, the action has been furious, and sometimes the ball seems to have a will of its own. With an assist from Dick Van Arsdale, Chicago's Bob Love breaks another tie with a drive. Frazier knots it again at 60 with half a minute left in the first half. And Love comes right back with a jumper for the final points of the period. So at the halftime break, it's the West 62, the East 60. Both teams shot well, the West hitting 54%, the East 50% from the field. The spotlight really belonged to Lenny Wilkens, the smallest man in the game at 6'1". In 9 minutes of action in the second quarter, Lenny scored 12 points. He had 5 out of 7 from the field, and at 33, playing in his 8th All-Star game, he showed he still has all the fluid moves that have made him such a standout in the NBA. The former star from Providence is one of the player coaches in the league. Wilkens and his West teammates lead by 2 points at halftime. And we'll be back for more All-Star Game action after this timeout.
It's the start of the second half of the 1971 NBA All-Star Game. Lew Alcindor and Willis Reed are the opposing centers again. The West holds a slim lead, 62-60. The action is underway, and Phoenix's Dick Van Arsdale, who had a fine first half, fails to connect on a long one. Jerry West of Los Angeles, who didn't score a point in the first half, immediately finds the range and bangs in a 20-footer. West is in the middle of things on defense, too. Jerry intercepts a pass and feeds to Jerry Lucas for a layup, and the West All-Stars boost their lead to 6 points. At At this point, the captain of the New York Knicks takes over. Willis Reed, moving outside, away from Alcindor's long reach, connects on a 15-foot jump shot. The next time down court, the East goes to Reed again, and he drills it home from about the same distance. Coach Larry Costello decides it's time to talk defense with his Western All-Stars. But the strategy sometimes doesn't work. Back in action, it goes to Willis Reed, and he connects again, and the East takes the lead in the game. San Diego's Elvin Hayes tries a shot but misses. Dick Van Arsdale there to grab it and feeds to Hayes for a fine drive to the hoop. Reed is back at his favorite spot, but this time the West is ready for him. Two men double teaming. Reed can't get the clear shot. Hayes gets the ball, takes it over to Jerry West, who feeds Alcindor, and Big Lou's on the way to a stuff shot. The West is back on top by 4 points. East coach Red Holzman decides it's time to go to his very talented bench, and he puts in an entire new team. Atlanta's Lew Hudson warms up in a hurry and hits a jumper from about 20 feet. The West is ready with an immediate answer, going to Big Lew underneath. Another Lew, this one called Hudson, works clear for another jumper, this time from 12 feet. The Atlanta Star is just getting warmed up, and there's not much the West can do to stop him. Hudson gets a basket now on a drive. And then moments later, Lew goes outside again to connect on a medium-range jump shot. The spurt by Hudson has tied the game at 75 all with about 2.5 minutes left in the third period. Elvin Hayes of the Rockets gets a good screen from Wilt Chamberlain, hits the jumper over it. Dave DeBusschere of New York finds himself in the clear, and that's too much of an edge to give to the great shooter like DeBusschere. JoJo White scores on a breakaway, and the East leads by 1. Bob Love of Chicago connects on a jump shot despite the defensive efforts of DeBusschere. The East gets the lead back as Baltimore's Wes Unseld is there to tip in teammate Gus Johnson's missed shot. Portland's rookie sensation Geoff Petrie sets up Elvin Hayes for another long one. But the third quarter ends with the East in front, 83-82. The lead changed hands 8 times in that period and was tied 3 times, and the final quarter figures to be just as hotly contested. Chamberlain steps in against Unseld. Lew Hudson, coming off a great third quarter, tries to drive the middle against Wilt Chamberlain. Gus Johnson's there to slap it back outside to JoJo White. White takes to Dave DeBusschere. Dave jumps for a 17-footer and connects. The East is on top by 3 points. Seattle's magnificent Lenny Wilkens, back in the game for the West, takes a pass from Robertson and hits on a drive. The East gets it right back, however, on a jumper by Cincinnati's Tom Van Arsdale, who gets it home over the defensive efforts of Lenny Wilkens. It's the East by 3 again. Oscar Robertson, playing in his 11th All-Star game, brings the West back. A 16-footer. The East is beginning to roll now and getting several shots each time they come down the floor. There's 3 in a row. Frazier to Havlicek, 4 in a row, and it tumbles home. The East has the momentum now as Tom Van Arsdale banks in a jump shot. The East is spurted to a 5-point lead, their biggest edge of the game. There's still nearly 8 minutes to play. East All-Stars add to that bulge, but they're in no rush. They patiently work to find an opening. Looking for that open man. Reed to Havlicek, and that's all she wrote. Let's take another look at that play and watch the agile Celtic captain in action with the captain of the New York Knicks, Willis Reed. The West team, despite trailing by 6 points, shows it can work for the good shot too. That man, Lenny Wilkens, is on the payoff end again. The Baltimore Bullets duo of Monroe and Unseld team up for a score as Earl the Pearl sets up his center for an easy one. The Eastern squad is getting a lot of shots now. Earl the Pearl tries a long one. The loose ball is finally corralled by San Francisco's Jerry Lucas. To the Lakers' Jerry West, ahead to Chicago's Chet Walker for a score. He's fouled. It's a 3-point play, and the West is back in the ball game in a hurry. New York's Walt Frazier takes charge of the ball. Gets it to Wes Unseld. He misses. Alcindor grabs the rebound, but Gus Johnson pops up to intercept. The ball goes back to Frazier, and he spots Havlicek. And the East is scrambled for another 2-pointer on John's jumper. It's the East by 5 with 4 minutes to play.
With 4 minutes to go, the Eastern Conference All-Stars lead by 5 points. Jerry West gets the ball over to Lenny Wilkens, and the West cuts into that edge. The East, Gus Johnson, sees an opening, and he tries one of his special drives as only he can do it. But Big Lew is there to stop him and take the rebound. The ball winds up in Jerry West's hands, and even the combined efforts of Monroe and Unseld can't stop his accurate jump shot. It's 101 to 100, and the West is definitely back in the game. The jump ball goes to the West, and Oscar Robertson starts a great example of all-star team play. Jerry West, Elvin Hayes, Chet Walker to the open man, Lew Alcindor. And the West has regained the lead, 102 to 101. Moments later, Robertson tries for the basket and is fouled on the play. He cashes in the free throw, and the West leads by 2. There's less than 2 minutes left now. The East needs a bucket. And they go to one of the sharpest shooters in the league, Lou Hudson. It's tied at 103. It's furious now, and the action focuses on 2 centers who have battled each other many times, Alcindor and Reed. Lew gets his points this time, and the West goes out in front 105 to 103 with a little over 1 minute left. The East is far from finished. Billy Cunningham spots an opening, feeds JoJo White, who lays it in over Alcindor. It's tied again. We're inside the final minute now, with each side looking for the big play that will win it. Jerry West takes control, dribbles underneath, but finds his path blocked. He makes a great pass to Alcindor, who knocks in a jumper from about 5 feet. It's a very big play, and Lew is fouled on the shot. Let's take another look at that one as West shows what a complete player he is, setting up the bucket with a brilliant pass. When Alcindor makes the free throw, the Western Conference All-Stars have a 3-point lead. There's still time for the East to pull it out. They get the ball to their hot shooter, Lew Hudson, but his long jumper is off the mark. JoJo White is there, however, and bangs home a short hook. It's 108 to 107 with less than 30 seconds left. The West has the ball, and just about the best man in the game to take care of it, Oscar Robertson. Elvin Hayes takes the final shot, and before the East can get the ball, time runs out. And the West has won a thriller, 108 to 107. It broke a string of 3 straight wins by the Eastern Conference. It was a game that thrilled the crowd of more than 14,000 in the San Diego Sports Arena and millions watching on national television. And there was a big moment remaining, the presentation of the Most Valuable Player Award. Commissioner Walter Kennedy handed it to the smallest player in the game, Lenny Wilkens. At 6'1", Lenny stands as an inspiration to all the little men everywhere who want to be a part of this game. The player coach from Seattle was the biggest man on the court tonight, leading all scores with 21 points, hitting 8 of 11 shots from the field and a perfect 5 for 5 from the free throw line. It's his 8th appearance in the All-Star game, and he'll never forget it. They say Lenny Wilkens is always grim and determined and never smiles. Well, they can't take that smile away from him tonight. He's earned it as he helped the West beat the East in a thriller, 108 to 107.